Everybody have a seat, please. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
First off, I don't think you're being bad at all. I absolutely love the fact that as I'm sitting here getting the laptop up and going, getting ready to make the recording, that I see tons of people working with each other on the quiz, knowing, trying to straighten out what they didn't get right on the quiz. And what I really like is that there's what I would call a relaxed intensity. Nobody's uptight, nobody's going crazy, nobody's upset that they didn't necessarily get 100, or maybe they got a poor grade on their quiz. What we have is people who don't really care about the number on the paper. What they care about is why the number on the paper, and then what we can do to straighten it out. And when your attitude is like that, it is perfect. It is exactly what we're looking for. Spencer, if you would kill those lights, please. Now, the first thing I want to do is quickly go over what I saw were some common mistakes on the quiz. And if you already discussed them with each other, then I'm going to reinforce it. And if you did not yet, then this is important for you to know. All right, so it's a Monday. We're all having a hard time getting going. I was even a bit of a bum this morning. I didn't get on my exercise bike, so I got to do a really long tomorrow, or tonight I should say. All right, so, let's get ready to rock here. First question. Got to get the glasses on, otherwise I can't read this. Kn minus y equals rs. And it says to solve for n. When you read those magic words, and it says, hey, end the game. When you read the magic words, and it says solve for n, what is so important to get out of that? Spencer?
Put n by itself.
Get n by itself. So to do that, I have to first add y, and as I looked at papers, every kid in the room knew to do this. Kn equals rs plus y. And then they knew to divide by k, and then they did this, which is still good. And if you stop here, okay. But this is what I saw a lot of people do.
Oh, no, that's what I did. Yep, that's what I did. But
That's your mistake. If you want to separate it, that's good, and you should all be able to see that it could be separated, but you have to realize that everything goes over that k. Lipstick.
Well, that's what I did, like, because I subtracted, well, I divided the k first. So how do you know what you're supposed to do first?
Ooh, thank you. See, I learned when I give these quizzes out what's going through your mind. Lipstick. What would you do first? So why would you, you would not divide by the 2. So why would you divide by the k over there?
I don't know. Well, because when I read, like, solve for n, I think get n by itself, then do the rest.
This is solve for x.
No, I'm confused.
Okay.
No.
Now, here's the thing about dividing. When anything you do with any equation, you always have to do the same exact thing to both sides, which means everything on the side. So if you wanted to divide, God bless, if you wanted to divide by k first, you could do that. But you would also have to do the y. And then you would add y over k to both sides and it would work out.
Okay.
Make sense?
Same thing.
Okay. All right. So are we all good?
No.
Do you know how to do this one in red?
Yeah.
Add 4, divide by 2. Over here, add y, divide by k. Same exact procedure. Okay? All right. Now let's take a look at number 2. I was encouraged by number 2 because a lot of people got number 2 right. And these fractional ones were giving a little bit of a hard time last week. And there is, without a doubt, coming soon, in fact, maybe tomorrow, I will show you another way to do this, which is a little more slick, a little cleaner, but for now, the blood and guts approach. First step is add 5/12 to both sides. Die, what did I come up with here? 19/12 x minus 2/3 is 5/2. Then I gotta add my 2/3 to both sides. Die. 19/12x equals, and what did I come up with over there? See, I gotta keep putting this on here. This is 14/12. It's not 19. And this works out to be 19/6. My memory was faulty. And then I have to divide both sides by 14/12. And when I do that on my handy dandy calculator, it'll come out and say 19/7. And what I love is that everybody left it like that. Nobody converted to a decimal. Nobody made it 2 5/7. Everybody left it there. Yes?
I had the same answer, but I did it a different way.
There are different ways.
Yeah, from the start, I subtracted 3/4, and then I got different answers off that.
Oh, over to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. The only trick is you're gonna get negative x's.
Oh,
And then this side would also be negative. And if you got really lucky and forgot to put your negative here and forgot to put your negative there, well, a negative divided by a negative at the end would have made a positive. But for that exact reason, we always try to look for the smallest number of a variable and do the opposite of that so that I get a positive. And I never need to worry about making negative sign mistakes. Okay? Yes?
Where's, like, I got the same answer, but instead of 14/12, I did 7/6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Simplest form.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now we get to the last one. And this, I feel, lost on. Because I'm like, man, this is an easy question. And either you guys are some seriously stubborn teenagers, or you're just messing with me. And you're saying, let's get Mr. Lindquist mad. Let's all get it wrong, it doesn't matter, because on the next quiz, I can get it right there and get all my points back. All right, look, it says A minus B. That's A, right? That's B, in between has to go a minus.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm really surprised I remembered to do that.
And if you're gonna subtract the B, you have to subtract the whole thing. And that's the point behind parentheses. Parentheses are grouping symbols. Now, as soon as I see this, you have to remember to distribute the -1. So I get 3x squared plus 5x minus 4 plus 2x squared. That distribution has the effect of changing every sign. Plus 9x minus 7. 3x squared plus 2x squared is 5x squared, and I stop right there because only one choice had 5x squared. But if you keep going, 5x's and 9x's make 14x's, and 4 negatives and 7 negatives make 11 negatives. So that's what I get, 5x squared plus 14x minus 11. Okay? Any questions?
No.
Nice, okay. Now, let's go to today's sheet. Okay, so, with this in mind, I'm going to pause for a second. And what I'm going to do is give you just a moment to take a look at how you answered number 1 and see if now that we've gone over the quiz, you think you're doing number 1 correctly, or if you think you need to straighten something out with number 1. So I'm going to pause for a few seconds. Look over your work for number 1. That's not your word about it.
No.
Someone who sat over here left the other day. I don't remember what. Okay, so, what should the first step be if I want to solve for y? Everybody? Cindy?
Minus 3x.
Minus 3x, very good. God bless whomever just sneezed. And I get 5h minus 3x equals 2y, and what's my last step? Everybody? Come on, next step, what do we do? Divide by 2, good. Now, I think it's safest to just put the whole thing over 2, but you need to be able to recognize that, bless you, this is the same exact thing. Okay? I don't know why I have a double thing. Okay, so, be able to recognize both. The reason I say recognize both is, if you were doing this and this was a fill-in-the-blank kind of question, or the kind of question that you show work on, you could stop here and you would be fine, you would get full credit. But if it was multiple choice, they might make it look like this one or the other one. And then you're gonna have to be able to recognize that they're both equal to each other, okay? All right.
Wouldn't it be 5/2 at H?
Oh, yes, H, sorry about that. Okay, so now, let's go to the next question. Consider these equations. X minus 2 equals 6 minus x, and x minus 2 squared equals 6 minus x squared. Did squaring both sides affect the solution?
No,
Why?
because the first thing you have to do in this situation is divide both, get the square root of both sides, which would leave you with the first equation.
Okay.
Like the square root of x minus 2, you have to square root the other side, so you end up with x minus 2 equals 6 minus x.
That's it. That's excellent thinking.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. It's also incomplete thinking. I have a question for you. What is that?
Square root of 100, 10,
Why?
because 10 times 10 is 100.
Are there any other numbers that times themselves are 100?
I don't know what you're asking.
Is there another number?
Like that, when you square it, it becomes 100? No.
Yes, there is.
5,
No,
6,
no,
7,
no,
11,
no,
9,
no.
8,
Negative 10.
negative 10. That was my next guess.
Oh, negative 10 times negative.
See, here's the thing. There are parts of mathematics that are language. When I write what's the square root of 100, there really are two answers. One is 10, one is negative 10. And for convention's sake, when I write the square root of 100, I am assuming we're talking about the positive of the square root of 100. If I ever want to talk about the negative of the square root of 100, I write it like that. If I ever want to write both of them, I write it like that.
But you can't have a negative square root.
It's not a negative square root, it's the negative of the square root.
Okay.
Now, here's the issue. The issue is that if we look at this solution and we look at it only in terms of, as Spencer said, when I take the square root, and we look at it from the point of view of what the notation says, the only answer would be 10. Or in this case, whatever the answer is after the square root. But when I consider all of the possibilities, had I used all of the notations available to me, then it could also be the negative. So the whole point behind that question was to say, hey, you know, when I get an answer, I ought to think about it a little bit. That was the whole point behind it, okay? Questions? All right. I think we'll see things similar to number 2 during the lesson today, where we're gonna think our way through it a little bit. Okay, number 3. F of x is 5x to the 0 plus x to the negative 3. What I am trying to reinforce many times over, does this 0 exponent refer to the 5? Hey, look up. Does the 0 exponent refer to the 5?
Yes.
No.
5x.
No.
The x.
Yes. If I wanted to refer to the whole 5x, I have to put that in parentheses. So, x to the 0 is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Negative exponent,
7.
reciprocal. So this becomes 2 to the negative 3, which is, the negative exponent means 1 over 2 to the 3.
So you get 5 plus 1/8.
That's right. So I get 5 and 1/8. Okay? So here's the big takeaway, and I can't remember back to Friday. I think we may have been a little rushed at the end. If I put something like 4 to the negative 2, there are 2 ways to evaluate 4 to the negative 2. One is to put it into your calculator. When you put it into your calculator, you do 4 up arrow -2 or 4 caret -2. It'll give you a decimal. You go math, enter, enter, and then it'll tell you 1/16. Now, what I want you to realize though, without the calculator, is the minute you see this negative sign, it means you're gonna take the reciprocal, which is 1 over. Okay? So I do 1 over and then 4 to the +2. So 4 to the -2 is 1 over 4 to the +2. What do you think 5 to the -2 is?
1 over 5.
1 over 5 to the +2. What do you think 7 to the -3 is? 1 over what? 7 to the 3. Now, on last night's homework, there were some problems that asked you to evaluate negative exponents, and there were 2 rows. And the first row you could have done on your calculator, and I'll bet all of you got it right, because you just take your calculator, you hit the buttons, you go math, enter, enter at the end. And for instance, if it gave you 7 to the -3, you would have gotten 1 over 343. But there was a second row, and the second row looked with things like this. Write using only a positive exponent. Well, as soon as you see that negative exponent, you should think reciprocal. I'm going to say, negative exponent. You're all going to say reciprocal. Negative exponent.
Reciprocal.
That stunk. I am giving you permission to yell, scream, holler, and carry on like a complete imbecile in class. And I'm getting reciprocal.
Well, you told us that on Friday. You told us I forget it.
Yeah, well, now we got to hear it. Negative exponent.
Reciprocal.
Very good. Anthony, I need more of you in the class. All right, so now, b to the -5 is 1 over
B5.
b to the 5th. What would this be?
1 over
1
x
over
to the
x to the
4th power.
1 over x to the 4th. Now, a little tricky here. Ready? 2n to the -5.
1 over 2 into the -5. 1 over 2 into the power.
I know what it means. Would it be 2 over n to the n cubed?
Yeah, n to the 5th. Yeah. That's some bad
Yeah,
handwriting.
yeah, like-
Look, the exponent, Spencer, like before, only applies to the n. So it's 2 times 1 over n to the 5th, which is 2 over n to the 5th. Okay?
Oh, I get it.
Right? Because the exponent does not refer to the 2. If I wanted to refer to the 2, I have to write it like that. That would be, there's a negative there. That would be 1 over 2n to the 5th. Okay? All right, now, very quickly, what is this?
3x.
Right, you've already changed. Write an expression with only positive exponents. Okay, who's got it? Go ahead.
3 over x to the 3rd.
3 over x to the 3rd is correct.
Got
Okay, we're good? What's this? Brian?
1 over 3x cubed.
Yeah, and the 3x is in the parentheses. Okay, good. All right, so that kind of cleans up a little bit where we left off the other day, and it gets all of this stuff going out here. And, all right, we did that question. We're now down to here. Consider the equation x plus 1 equals 4 and x plus 1 squared equals 4. Okay, everybody try A, try B. And if you want, think a little bit about C. Bless you. Okay, now, I think the first part of this is very simple. If I do a little bit of a quick check here, right, I plug in the 3 for the 1, and I get 3 plus 1 equals 4. 4 equals 4, check. We're all good, right? Now, the second equation, what's the other value for x?
3 and 3.
Anybody else?
-3.
No. If I plug it in, -3 plus 1 is -2.
Three.
-2 squared.
It's 3.
No. Anthony?
Would it be 3.9 for letter B?
Nope.
3 over 1.
No.
1 over 3.
Look, stop. What number squared equals 16? Talk to me. What number squared equals 16?
3.
4. Is there another number squared equals 16? -4. Ah, so in other words,
-5.
if x plus 1 equals -4, I get x is -5.
Called it.
I guess when one uses up all the numbers there are, one is bound to stumble onto it. X is -5 is correct. Okay, now, based on your results, what effect does squaring both sides of an equation have? What it does is it opens up a second edge. Okay? And finally, does that not make sense, given the fact that a squared graph looks like a parabola, and that the y is going to touch twice in many places? Okay?
Logic.
Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta, arrivederci.
Has to go on.
Smile a lot, ciao. Arrivederci. Adios amigos y amigas. Cheerio.
The Pacers?
Oh, drink the Pacer?
Yeah, we got the Pacers.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it every quarter, but I didn't have it yet until. My legs are sore. I can't.
The only ones that matter are the first
It's
ones.
like I'm sick. So why my legs are sore?
Just get like 10. And I'll be like, okay, you tried.
My foot still hurts. My feet.